If someone I have no interest in talking to in the elevator says, hey Chris, nice to meet you, what do you do? I'd say, I own a bowling alley. They're like, wow, that's interesting. It's like, yeah, it smells like smoke and it's really inconsistent and my labor is all high school kids. It's a pain in the ass. That's exciting. Like, I'm going to talk to them in different ways depending on what I need. So learning how to position yourself is huge, to the point where you start talking to yourself and talking about yourself and telling people who you are based off of who you want to be. So it's just a quick worksheet, and it's going to give you prompts. It's going to ask you questions. And these questions you can fill in, nothing crazy, and it'll help you determine your action plan for how you're going to gain authority. A lot of times people don't know your mission. A lot of times they have the ability to refer you business owners or people if they just understood what you're going after and what you're looking to do, okay? And I think also you got to get away from ever feeling like you have to posture. Don't say things that are not true. Don't say things that would make people say, like you don't want to come off as that way at all. And also, having a strong presence on social media is huge as well. Your positioning is not just the words you say, but how people see you when they research you, okay? Give you an example. So this is Derek. Derek is in Protégé. He's a good friend of ours. He is a what? Professional baseball player, used to be, right? And we were at an event back in January in Orlando, and he came up to me, he said, Chris, I feel a little out of place. I feel like people look at me and they see something different than I see myself. I said, what do you mean? He says, I'm just a baseball player, Chris. And I said, well, okay. Well, as long as you say that and you believe that, then you're right. I said, but when I look at you, I see a business acquisitions investor. I see someone who's had a very successful career in professional sports, who's transferred over the civilian world, who is now someone who is highly sought after to be on the board of advisors and to be an investor in somebody else's deal. I said, why don't you look at yourself in the mirror and see that? I said, because if you do, at that moment, your entire world's going to change. The way you carry yourself is going to change. The way you speak about yourself is going to change, and you're going to start to believe it. And if you don't believe it, they won't believe it. I said, you can't ever say, I'm just a baseball player ever again. Unless you're on the baseball diamond. That's not who you are. And by the way, what you do for a living doesn't dictate who you are. It's just what you do. I'll give you another example. Is Carl here? He's not here. Great, we can tell the story. All right. So we're at the Dollar Tree. Everybody been to a Dollar Tree? We were in Ormond Beach, Florida. I was with Chris Evans, one of our partners. I was with Carl and myself. This was about June 2022. And he stopped, and my two girls were with us, and I was teaching him this game we played. Did you hear about this, Julia? So my kids think they're YouTube stars. Anybody else have that going on in their household? So we would do this game where I would let them go, and we'd put a timer on, and they'd have a theme. So, all right, girls, ready? Here's what I need you to do. I need you to find 7 items in less than 2 minutes. All start with the letter Y, and they have to be edible. If you can get me all those things within 2 minutes and bring them back here, I'll follow you around with the phone and take your video. We'll actually put this on YouTube. You get to get all 7 of those things plus the one thing you wanted when you came in here. Ready? $8 plus tax. Let's go. So we're playing this game, and I've got Carl doing this game with me. And that day it was like things that are yellow and edible, or we do things that smell bad. Like it was whatever that is. And he's running around. He's like, mate, look at us. We're like 3 millionaires running around the Dollar Tree. I could buy everything in this place 3 times. Like, and you know what was interesting though? That's the first time in my life that anyone looked at me and said those words to me. I had an identity upgrade at that exact moment. I was like, oh my God. Because for the longest time, I literally worked every day since I was 21 years old when I read a book called Millionaire by 30. And I wanted to be a multimillionaire. When I was a little kid, you said, what do you want to do? I just want to be rich. And I didn't know why. I didn't know what that meant. I just knew that I had a rich friend, or his dad was rich, right? And I wanted to be like that person, but no one had ever validated the fact that I had gotten there. Huh? Say it again? Who won? Brenley, my youngest one. But at that moment, I saw myself the way someone else saw me. And I'll tell you, the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I think, the way I invest, my risk tolerance, my risk profile, everything changed in an exact moment. And it was so powerful. Sometimes we look in the mirror and we don't see ourselves the way we need to see ourselves. Or we have things that we want in this world, but the way that we're talking about ourselves and seeing ourselves is holding us back. And you're your own worst enemy. So if you can do anything right now, step into your own greatness today. And start looking at yourself the way that you want other people to look at you. It's a very powerful thing. Let's keep going. Here's Alex Hermosi. I like to think we're friends. He doesn't know me, but we're going to be friends. But it's all about this. Talk differently about yourself. And if you have that identity upgrade, it changes the way you make decisions. Has anybody been ever on one of my goal-setting workshops? Wow, no one likes me. Goal-setting workshops. I host them every single year. Yep. If you've been to my goal-setting workshops, if not, go in a circle and type in goal-setting and go watch all of them, please. We talk about this. We talk about our goals, our targets are literally compasses for our lives. We're allowing the things that we say we want to do in life to determine what directions and actions and decisions we make every single day. And on top of that, your positioning and your identity also changes the way you make decisions. You make decisions like the person you want to be, not decisions like the person you're trying to become. And it's a very powerful thing. And this may give you more swagger. It may change your vernacular. If you say, I'm just a redneck from Alabama, and I live in Alabama, right? That's who I'm going to be. Sometimes I position myself that way when I'm dealing with someone and I'm mirroring, just because I don't want them to say, you're not from around here. You know, boys in Alabama don't have fancy hair like that. You know, I've had those things, but I just want you to think about that, okay? And also change your habits. So if anything from positioning, we're going to move on. I just want you to believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in it, they won't believe in you. So one other thing that I think is really powerful is making your mission known and talking about your why and why you do the things you do, but also it's all about creating relevance. Relevance and relevancy, it's my favorite word that starts with the letter R. And I teach marketers and salespeople constantly, and we always talk about in marketing and sales, if it's not relevant to someone, they don't pay attention. If it's not relevant to their scenario, they don't buy, right? And when you're positioning yourself and learning how to talk about yourself in the correct way to the right person, I like to talk about the specific problems that I solve for the specific people in these unique scenarios, people who've already solved these problems, who are struggling here, and it changes absolutely everything, right? Even talking to sellers and say, well, tell me about yourself. He said, well, I've actually made a living solving this problem, you already know they have, if it's true, for people in these scenarios who've already tried this, and they're looking for this. And it's so relevant at that exact moment, you can position yourself in a way where they want you to buy the business more than anybody else. It's just a really powerful thing. So let's keep going. Let's go to proven. Proven's huge to me because you heard Nick talk about it earlier, Nick Bradley, and he talks about case studies and testimonials. It's so easy to go and do this. It takes time, and maybe you need a framework, and I'll give you a framework, but you need to start displaying your wins. You need to start collecting case studies, third-party credibility, social proof, and sometimes you may say, but how do I do that for what I do? Is that confusing? Like, how do I do that for what I do? First of all, part of your identity upgrade is identifying what your mission is, and what kind of unique problems you solve. Of course, I'm a consulting for equity guy, but problems that you're solving are a big part of acquisitions as well. So you need to learn how to display those wins. Maybe you've been a W-2 for the last 20 years working in a project where you have no credibility, no one's given you any credit for any of the cool things you've ever done. How do I get displayed wins? Well, first of all, it starts today. You don't always have to have a video of someone talking about how amazing you are. You can also do case studies where you're leading it through yourself. You can literally take a project plan, put it on a Google Doc, and do like a Loom video. Everybody know what Loom is, like screen recording. And you can walk them through what you've done, exactly where it was when you got to it, what you did that made a difference. Here's the outcome. And that's a case study. It's very simple. Most people say, well, I'm not going to get anybody who's going to talk good about me. That's okay. You can talk good about yourself in that way, but you need to be able to show people, right? So proven is all about having case studies and wins that makes you proven, right? And you can't fake this. If you do, you're going to get in trouble. You've all been to websites where you see things like CNN and like these third-party credibility logos underneath the header. Sometimes that's BS. Don't fake it, right? Can't fake case studies. But it's really, really important to start this. If you don't have any today, start today. Sometimes you have to take inventory and say, what have I really done that's worthwhile in life? What problems have I been able to solve? Was I able to turn around this project? Was I able to take a problem child that was in my classroom and turn them into an all-star student that no longer has behavioral issues? Think about what you do specifically. Don't ever discount it. Look at the problems that you can solve in what unique scenarios and start making case studies, because it will end up never having to ever pay a diminishing return. Those are marketing effort spent in the right direction compared to like paying money to like a Google ad. Say you're doing marketing and you put money into Google ads. As soon as you turn it off, it stops. But third-party credibility, case studies, testimonials, things that are showing the world that you can do what you say you can do, will never have a diminishing return. So think about that, okay? Let's keep going. This is my buddy Patrick. He works with me really closely in some of our businesses, so I like to use his picture here, and he's handsome. But we talk about this all the time. It's all about indisputable wins, too. You need to be able to show people that you can solve problems, and this is massive, okay? I say this one all the time in Consulting for Equity. Demonstration builds your reputation. Once you're able to demonstrate again and again how you are able to solve problems, and I want you to think about solving problems through your lens. If we're talking about business acquisitions and you're looking to buy manufacturing companies and they specialize in punching little holes in metal like they were talking about yesterday, how it's kind of boring. Talk about that business. Talk about your wins that relate to that buy box, that industry, because all it's going to do is add credibility. It's huge. Even having little things on LinkedIn where someone endorses you and they're putting a couple key words about, like, Ian, he's such a great guy. I worked with him in this industry. He also has brilliant financial mind. I've never seen anybody as innovative in the mortgage business. Like, those are displayed wins. Those are case studies. It's very, very powerful, okay? Let's keep going. I think part of it's also is displaying them in the right place. You don't all have to have your own website, but even putting things on LinkedIn, like Jim Helm said, which is highly indexable with SEO and Google, I would have as much proven case studies and displayed wins there as humanly possible, okay? You can just do a post and keyword it a lot, and it will come up in Google searches. So this is huge. All right, let's keep going. So pedigree. Pedigree in this context is really the awards. Sometimes people look at you and they say, prove to me that you're qualified to do what you do. Some people care about that. Some people care a lot about education. Some people don't. Imagine if you're a medical doctor. Are you qualified to operate on me? Like, think about that. This matters to a lot of people. So going out and proving that you have the ability and you can do what you say you can do, it's very helpful when you have lots of industry awards, you have certificates, you have special licenses, you're qualified to do the work. It's a big part of it. This isn't very hard to do either. You can go to whatever industry your buy box is in. Let's say that your industry is SaaS companies, and you went out and Google searched or went to AI, ChatGPT, and say, show me all the awards I can win in the SaaS business. What industry certificates and education can I go get? Like, you can go find these things. I'll give you an example. We were in I taught this about 1.5 years ago, and Brian, do you guys remember Brian? He was up on the leaderboard as the guy who closed like 4 businesses. I was trying to keep his identity secret. But Brian, he came to me one day and he stood up. He said, by the way, I saw you present that. I went and looked in my local community. I found 4 awards they gave out for entrepreneurs and businesses. I went and applied and won 3 of them, and I'm getting tons of business just because I was able to put that on my website. Do you remember when he said that? Maybe? It was in Orlando. It's so powerful. These are so easy to do. You guys ever hear about American Airlines? They created their own award system. They went out and created a whole new system of awards for airlines, and believe it or not, they won all of them. Isn't that crazy? But they were like top-rated employees, best pick, most comfortable seats, biggest leg room, and they gave themselves all these awards, and they put them up on their website, and it's got to be true, right? It's just very powerful. So let's keep going. Published. I told you I put your picture in my slides, Laura. Published. Back in the day, published means you had to write a book, right? Nowadays, it doesn't have to be. Published could be podcasts. It could be your podcast. It could be appearances you have on somebody else's podcast. It can be social media content, TikTok, the reels, the stories, just things that are displaying again and again that you have expertise. You know, some people will tell you to do lots of funny videos and lifestyle videos and videos with your playing pranks on your spouse. Like, that's cool and all if you want to go viral, but if you want someone to find you online and know that you are an expert or know that you're a player, they know that you're the person that they want to buy their business, be careful what you post there, but it should be things that are showing your expertise. Demonstration builds reputation. You can go and talk about specific problems that you solve. You can talk about different scenarios. You can talk about your mission and what you're going after, but it's very powerful. You can write a book, of course. I've written 3 magazines. Carl is still the only guy to be on the cover of Acquisition Aficionado twice. And that's a big deal. I mean, it's a very highly regarded publication in our industry. It creates a lot of authority, creates a lot of implied authority when you're there. Next one. Let's go to pitch. Pitch is huge. How do you talk to people? Not just the positioning, but how do you talk to people? I love this one. Super simple. I'm the girl you call when you need blank. I'm the guy you call when you need blank. It's so easy to say that. I always talk about the specific problems I solve more than anything else and the specific scenarios, because I know as somebody who's pretty much focused on marketing and sales for the last 20 years that I know if I can't make myself relevant to their unique situation, then we're not going to have any future meetings. So if I know what type of problems people have and I want to solve those problems, I talk about it. You know, I'm the guy you call when you've tried this and you've tried that, you're dealing with this, you've already solved these problems, and you're looking to get to the next level. And everyone else you've worked with couldn't get you there because they don't have the exact one thing that I figured out. Like, it's very powerful. This is just a quick way to say it, okay? Keep going. Proximity. I think proximity is huge. If you're around the right people, people believe you have authority. Imagine if you were in an inner circle mastermind with Alex Hermosi, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and a few of these other really tech giants. People are going to look at you and assume that you're a tech giant. You must be a tech guru. You're probably the founder of some company that they use all the time that you didn't even know who your name was. It's the power of proximity, right? Just like mom wants to tell me, you know, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, or the average of the sum, right? It's exactly what it is. So upgrade the company you keep, always seek to get in bigger playgrounds, hang out with the people you want to be in 10 years. Like, these are all real sayings. I know in my life, I had this moment where I was a restaurant manager. I was at Ruby Tuesday, I had a wife and 2 kids. I worked mid-shifts. That means I was in at 10 a.m., I was out at 10 p.m. My kids were crazy sleepers. I didn't see them because they were still asleep, and when I got home, they were already asleep. It was terrible. And I looked around at my world. This is the external environment stuff we talked about yesterday. And all my friends who were either servers, cooks, or other managers, excuse my vernacular, a lot of the managers were banging the hostess. I was looking at people, their only thing they need today, like their only fixation is going on smoke breaks. And I had to stop for a second and say, is this where I need to be? I said, if someone walked in here and I wanted to make a good impression, but this is the company I keep, what would they look at me as? So I made a commitment to start getting into bigger playgrounds. I had made a commitment to start hanging out with people who were not just way older than me, but way smarter than me and more educated and more experienced and made more money. And I started working with these guys. They were all 8, 9, 10 years older than me. And within 2 years, I had passed everything they've ever accomplished from almost nothing. And I realized, whoa, this changed. So again and again and again, I've been upgrading the company I keep. Next year, that's why I said Alex Hermosi doesn't know about me yet, but I'm hoping he will. I want to be on that level where he is. I think this is everything. If you're around power players, they're going to think you're a power player. That's where I think this is so valuable. But it's nothing rocket science about this. Go out and learn how to get published. Start a podcast, get on some podcasts, make some content. And this is for you if you want to create authority. Make sure when someone does due diligence on you, assume and guarantee you every time they will, can you control what they see when they search you? Yes, you can. Focus on that. All right? Learn how to talk to people the way you want to talk to each specific person. Learn how to position yourself. Have an identity upgrade to the point where you start talking to yourself and talking about yourself and telling people who you are based off of who you want to be. Don't have negative self-image. There's no room for self-doubt. You've got to step into your greatness, okay? Let's keep going. So I gave you a worksheet. I don't think you're going to remember every single thing I said. So I have a worksheet that's about to pop up. So it's just a quick worksheet, and it's going to give you prompts. It's going to ask you questions. And these questions you can fill in, nothing crazy, and it'll help you determine your action plan for how you're going to gain authority. Does that make sense? Think about proximity for a second. Somebody has all the relationships that you need. Isn't that interesting? If you want to get in front of sellers and you're buying roofing companies, there's somebody out there that's either an authority figure to roofing companies. There's somebody out there who is selling a specialty type of insurance to roofing companies. There's someone who's selling supplies to roofing companies. You can get in the proximity of those people, and you can get access to all of your perfect business owner prospects in one place. Like, I think it transcends beyond just gaining authority. This is also going to be for helping you for prospecting.